Good morning, Christchurch, and welcome to the book of Judges. And we are moving swiftly through the Old Testament, and pray and trust you're having a fantastic time, being inspired, and you're learning a lot. Well, today I'm going to start off in the beginning of Judges chapter 2, be your first reading this week. It says this. I'll read verses 6 and 7, and then I'll pick it up from verse 10 and go to verse 13. It says this: after Joshua sent the people away, each of the tribes left to take possession of the land allotted to them. And the Israelites served the Lord throughout the lifetime of Joshua and the leaders who outlived him, those who had seen all the great things the Lord had done for Israel. We jump over to verse 10. After that generation died, another generation grew up who did not acknowledge the Lord or remember the mighty things he had done for Israel. The Israelites did evil in the Lord's sight and served the images of Baal. They abandoned the Lord, the God of their ancestors, who had brought them out of Egypt. They went after other gods, worshipping the gods of the people around them, and they angered the Lord. They abandoned the Lord to serve Baal and the images of Ashtoreth. It's quite an interesting passage of Scripture, something for us to think about. I can ask you today, as you watch this video, where do you stand with God? Are you faithfully serving God? There's a great passage or the saying that Joshua says. He says, as for me and my household, we will serve the Lord. And in the time of Joshua, they served the Lord faithfully. And we see the blessing of God and the favor of God upon the people of Israel. But there was then a generation that rose up after Joshua. They did not acknowledge God. They did not serve God. It's one thing for us to say, I serve God faithfully, and we could feel that we're being faithful in as much as we are doing what God has called us to do. But greater faithfulness is called and asked of us to think not only of ourselves, but of the generations to come. We're a Christ church. We're in the world today. We carry the light of Christ. And we might say, well, it's about what I get out of this church, out of my faith. And I'd say, no, it's about the legacy we leave for the generations to come. What will this church look like? What will this community look like? What will this country look like when we move on? From a church point of view, maybe sometimes we relocate and we're not in the church anymore. What will you leave behind? And with that, I want to challenge you to think about how your life and your faith affects those around you, and in particular how it affects the generations, the students of Christ Church, the children of Christ Church. What are you doing to make sure that if you were to leave for whatever reason, the generations to come would be strong and established in the Lord? Just something for us to think about this week. Maybe you can get involved somehow. Maybe you can serve. Maybe you should be praying into that. Maybe you should be considering how your life can make a difference in the lives of those that are still growing up in the Lord around us. Be blessed. Think about it. Pray about it. Have a great week.